Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
You know, I find this kind of interesting. The month of November coming up, of course, on November 6th, we go vote. Remember that. And did you know that the month of November is also set aside as Rodent Removal Month? Kind of goes hand in hand. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America, followed by a patriot. Call in with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, good morning. Oh, my goodness sakes, good morning to you. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell. And, of course, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a big tire sale right now. You stop in and see them today, along with some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Well, good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Wheels. Right now it's time for the weather forecast, and it's brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. And don't forget, if you've got landscaping to do before the weather gets really gnarly and surly out there, they've got all the equipment you need to get the job done. And there's still time to put in sprinklers, too. Don't forget, they've got the equipment, all the tools for long and short-term usage. You get a hold of them today. K&R Rental with Roger and the crew at 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn, right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. And right now, here's Gino with the weather.
Here's a look at your weather forecast for this Wednesday. Honestly, today, not too bad, but we are expecting rain showers for tonight and for the rest of the week. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We're expecting partly sunny skies today, winds out of the southwest right around 8 miles an hour. Expecting a high of 69 tonight. Showers could move in, about a 60% chance of that happening with mostly cloudy skies, expecting a low of 48. Tomorrow, chance of showers and then thunderstorms possible in the afternoon, mostly cloudy skies. Expecting a high of 62 for Thursday night. 40% chance of showers before midnight. Other than that, transitioning to partly cloudy skies. Expecting a low of 36. Then for Friday, sunny skies with a high of 57. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Oh, thank you, Gina. I appreciate it. And the weather brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Can't miss it. Right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. And the number to call, 678-3122. You get a hold of them today. Wow. Thank you, everybody, for all your calls and your well wishes and your birthday cards and everything. I had a nice birthday. Very, very nice birthday with people calling all day, and thank you. It really means a lot to me. You folks are the best out there in the Magic Valley, and I really appreciate you. We're going to talk about a lot of things here this morning. Excellent program. Dave Bigo, Pacific Legal Foundation attorney Casey Royer. We've got Michelle Owens coming on the program. She's a prosecutor. And then we've got Seth Coyne on the program later on this morning. And talking about some new innovative medical aids that might help people walk again. Ooh, that's interesting. Hey, don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 678-0459. Why should you call? Well, I'll tell you. Because maybe you're in a big hurry to get back to the farm, the ranch, wherever, and they can have everything waiting on the counter. Zip in, zip out, you're gone. Don't forget, they're open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday for all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs, and over 6 decades of experience serving you. Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Also want to give a great big shout out, and I mean this, to Denny's Restaurant. You know, I don't think we brag enough on the folks over there at Denny's. They do such a wonderful job. Thomas and the crew at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. And then they've got another location, too, easy to find, right there at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Absolutely. If you like breakfast, just go through and pick out the best doggone delicious breakfast you've ever had in your life. And, of course, lunch and dinner, all the items on that menu, really good. Don't forget, we meet once a month over there for Zeb's Lunch Bunch. You can go in anytime, all the time. Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner at 611 North Overland in Burley. Really good. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I thought I would start the program off this morning. Wheels, I need to have you turn up the feed line to me a little bit. It's a little low, if you would, please. I had a hard time hearing you during the pledge. Just a little bit, not much, just a tad. A skosh. There you go. I want to start off with some good news this morning. And I'm not ashamed to say it brought tears of happiness to my eyes. It was so great watching and listening and hearing some of the best young people in the United States as they were talking about their college, the College of the Ozarks. I don't know how many of you saw some of the different cutaways that they had to interview the president of the college and some of the administration and the students, but what a fantastic college. And here's the thing. These kids have to apply for the school, and they're accepted, and when they're accepted, they have to work for their tuition. They have to take a job, whether it's in food management or whether it's on the agricultural part of the campus for livestock management, crop growth, production, etc. Whatever the jobs are, they do the jobs for the tuition to get their education. And these kids were phenomenal. They stood there and they were cheering the president of the college as he visited on the news. It was just, the attitude of these kids was absolutely great. And they call this college, the College of the Ozarks, Hard Work U. And they absolutely teach these kids how to work. I know they get their tuition paid for because of the work, and then they go out debt-free in the society. And boy, are they contributors with a work ethic that we all should be proud of. Holy smokes! This school promotes faith, freedom, and work. And I listened this morning. They had their band on there, and they were playing all the inspirational patriotic music, and they were singing God Bless America. Oh, my goodness. You talk about a way to start the day. College of the Ozarks back in Missouri. Wow. I'm going to send them a note. To President Davis, and I'm going to let him know what an inspiration and how absolutely great it was to see young people 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old people, absolutely patriotic, absolutely proud of their country. And by the way, this is the college of the Ozarks, that told Nike, you're not going to be on our campus. And most all the students got rid of, burned, threw away, whatever, anything with the Nike logo. And they said, we stand for the national anthem. We stand for our country. We don't stand for Nike. I tell you, I loved it. I loved it. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. It was, wow. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. I want to brag on them a little bit because they are good. And it's not brag, it's a fact. 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley with Nick Greenwell. The entire staff serving you. I mean this with the best of exercises to get you back to being you. And, of course, they've got the only pool of its kind, the hydrotherapy pool, right there. I've walked a zillion miles, and it really helped me. They can help you. Don't forget, all you have to do is give them a call, set up an appointment time, and get going. That's right. 678-1191. 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Really good people. All right, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You have no idea, unless you saw the segments this morning, about how it was phenomenal. Watching these young people stand there and salute our flag and sing God Bless America and sing the national anthem and anything else patriotic, and then their band played all the different military anthems. Wow! What a great bunch of kids. Don't forget, coming up on this Saturday, 11 o'clock up in Shoshone. It's going to be the Bennett Boys Auction Service putting on the Tiger and Carol Barnett and Neighbors Auction. Starts at 11 o'clock on this coming Saturday, October 6th, in Shoshone at 671 North, 450 West. From Johnny's Country Store north of Shoshone, go north 2 miles to 620 North Road, then west 4.5 miles. You'll see the signs. Follow the signs, okay? Lunch by the Cook Shack, they're going to have tractors and trucks and pickups and trailers, various other farm equipment, and the neighbors are consigning ATVs. It's going to be quite a sale. Tiger and Carol Barnett and Neighbors Auction this coming Saturday, managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service up in Shoshone. And don't forget, for more information, call Joe at 539-0111. The Bennett Boys Auction Service, no sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, they sell them all. I'd really appreciate some calls, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Hillary's back in the news. It would be so nice to have a week where you start questioning after Friday's about over. Oh, golly, it was a great week. We didn't hear anything from Hillary Clinton. Well, not to be this week. She was doing an interview and just ran the rest of us down again, us deplorables. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Right now, caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. I hope it's my turn.
All right.
Okay, you know, you're talking about schools where patriotism really stands out. We've got one here locally. If you ever have the chance on Veterans Day, go up to the Declo School for their veterans program. I'll tell you what, it just is so heartwarming to see all them kids there praising this country, honoring our flag, and honoring what we stand for. That's another school that does a great job of showing that America is the greatest.
You know, it's nice of you to say that about those young people over there, and I've heard that in the past from others, too. And I just wish there'd be more attaboys and pat on the backs for schools and school administrations and students that really appreciate the patriotism and the pride in this greatest country of them all, America. And to all those others out there that want to run our country down and denigrate it and everything, don't talk to me.
Well, I'll tell you, I went to that program several years ago, and my heart was so touched, I have never forgot it. I've taken several people to that program, and every single one of them want to go back again.
Wow.
I've never had one that didn't. And all of them talk about it all year long because it is just a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful program they put on.
Jerry, wouldn't it be absolutely a treat, a real treat, to wake up in the morning and maybe hear stories that back at Yale and Harvard and Boston College and maybe USC in California or Berkeley, whatever, that maybe there was patriotism and pride in this country and the kids were standing there saluting our American flag? Wouldn't that be great to wake up to that?
It would, and you know, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but there are a lot of schools in this country that are very patriotic.
Yep.
Their kids have learned to love this country. They've been taught that, and I just think it's wonderful for them schools. It's a lot better attitude than let's get rid of this and let's get rid of that and let's lie about this and let's cheat on that and let's delay this and let's delay that. To me, it's just a heck of a lot better deal.
I tell you, it was really interesting, Jerry. I don't know if you saw this or not, but they interviewed the president of College of the Ozarks, President Davis. And basically, and I'm paraphrasing, he was asked, well, I understand that you face some adversity and some criticism because of your school being so patriotic. And the president looked right at the camera and he said, who cares? I loved it.
True thing. Who cares?
That's right.
You know, I hear these stories on the news, and you know, right now it's rampant because of, you know, the Kavanaugh investigation, and it's a sham.
Yeah.
Everybody that's seen that woman testify, if she can't testify without reading it off a piece of paper, you know it's got to be phony.
She was a flake.
Everything she said, I don't think she said one thing out of her brain. Everything was off the paper.
I agree. Jerry, it's always good to hear from you. Thank you for your time and your call. I appreciate it, my friend.
Have a wonderful day, and may the Lord bless you and your whole audience.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, you know, I really don't care if this upsets anybody, but when you really honestly, analytically look at Ms. Ford and her testimony, she's a flake. She's a flake. And the Martinez woman, a kook. And, of course, the Stetnick woman, a kook, a flake. This whole thing has done nothing but denigrate a man, a marriage, and a family. And now these imbeciles on the left, these Democratic dolts, are trying to dig up a story. This one here stopped me in my tracks last night. They're trying to dig up and promote a story of hatred about Brett Kavanaugh, that while he was in college, and I'm not making this up, you couldn't make this garbage up, that while he was in college, oh no, he threw ice at someone. Oh, man, he ought to get the electric chair or the firing squad, or be put on a desert island surrounded by man-eating sharks. He, Kavanaugh, they say threw ice on someone. Oh, my goodness. 35 years ago, how could he ever be on the Supreme Court? You can't make this stuff up. These Looney Tunes, Democrats, on the left, I'm telling you, they need some psychiatric help. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Yesterday, we had a great meeting on the air with our dear friend Vic at Stoats Equipment Company. Every Tuesday at 9:46, we have the Stoats Equipment Ag Minute. They are your John Deere dealer at 119 Overland in Burley. And boy, do they make your life easier. I'll guarantee it. You get in there today, Stoats Equipment Company in Burley, and believe me, we're going to be talking a lot more in the next couple of weeks about their big John Deere days. Don't miss that. Stoats Equipment Company in Burley. All right, callers, come on, give me a jingle. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'd love to hear from you about any subject you want to talk about. I want to talk about football here in just a moment, and a coach that is, because of the left, going, oh, he can't do that. He's in trouble. Okay, we'll talk about it in just a minute. Don't forget Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street in Rupert. The best of a restaurant, the best of a bakery. Oh my. Every Monday we give away a dozen cookies to Sophie's Chatterbox right on the square in Rupert at 530 East Street. You stop into that restaurant. You just go in and get anything like cookies, pies. They make beautiful wedding cakes, too, at Sophie's Chatterbox in Rupert. And by the way, they got those delicious raspberry cookies, too. They are something else. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you doing?
I'm peachy fine. Go ahead. What can I do for you?
I was going to say the Looney Tunes are a lot smarter than the Democrats, and that I think the Democrats just took this whole thing up and are trying to ruin Kavanaugh's career, and I don't think it's right.
What do you think, honestly, is going to happen? Will he get the appointment? Will he be confirmed? What do you think is going to happen?
I honestly think he will be confirmed.
I hope you are right, and I certainly appreciate your attitude, but you will agree, I can tell already, that this has been a complete joke.
Yes, it has.
Well, I appreciate your call and I'll look forward to having you call again. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Have a good morning, and bye-bye.
All right, sir. Thank you. You know, I got to be, I guess, somewhat careful on this because those in the audience that they want to have a society where everybody is just going to not get touched and nobody's going to get hurt. And when you play sports, you don't want to get your feelings hurt. Oh, the coach yelled at my son or daughter. How terrible. I don't know how my son and daughter's ever going to live through it. Baloney. There is a video that shows Texas A&M coach Jimbo Fisher grabbing a face mask of a player to get his attention. He was trying to talk to the player, and the player kept looking away, looking down, and he just reached up and quickly grabbed the face mask of that player to get his attention and look him in the eye. And then after about the next 10 seconds, he slapped the player on the shoulder pads and kind of an attaboy, go get him attitude. But Coach Fisher, is coming underneath a whole bunch of criticism leveled at him. Oh, my goodness, he grabbed that player. Oh, my goodness, he was yelling and shouting at that player. Oh, my goodness, we can't have that. How horrible. You know what? We have started to turn this society into a complete bunch of wussiness. I'm almost convinced with some of the stupid, frivolous rules that they've changed football in the NFL, they ought to start wearing dresses. Or at the most, play flag football. I've watched over the last couple of weeks, and some of the ridiculous, stupid calls by the officials to protect the quarterbacks and to protect this person and that. The game is a game not just of contact, it's a game of absolute mayhem. That's the way the game was set up. And personalities in sports, whether you're playing football, whether you're playing basketball, whether you're playing baseball, it doesn't make any difference to the sport. If you're supposed to be trying to win, then try to win. And if the coach sits there and says something to your little Johnny or your little Susie to get up off their butt and play harder and do a better job that they're capable of, so what? It'll help them later on in life. When they make a mistake or something, oh, gee, I made a mistake. I'm going to sit here and feel sorry for myself. No, get up and play better. And as far as Jimbo Fisher grabbing that face mask to get this kid to look him in the eye, how many times on the sidelines have you seen these players kind of just disregard the coach and look away or start to walk away out of complete disrespect? I don't blame Jimbo Fisher at all. When you talk to somebody, you want them looking you in the eye. And for these prima donna athletes that think they're better than the coaching staff, the school, or anyone else, to be looking around, checking the sunset, or make sure all the lights on top of the stadium are working, instead of looking the coach in the eye, I think he did the right thing. But he's underneath a lot of scrutiny and a lot of criticism by the liberal loons. What are your thoughts? I can remember vividly, and I'm not going to mention any names because I do have some of my old high school bros listening across the country, but some of the coaching that we had in high school, whoo, this is mild compared to some of the ways our coaches got our attention, and we played better. Caller, good morning, you're on the air.
It's a yummy man. Today is birthday and anniversary dinner at the senior center. Everybody's welcome. We're going to have turkey, dressing, mashed taters, gravy, probably green beans, and birthday cake for dessert. Oh, probably a little Jell-O thrown in there.
Now, Joe, wait a minute. You didn't say that right. It's not just birthday cake. It is yummy birthday cake.
You got that right, Zeb.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what.
You're welcome. We need a few volunteers to help in the kitchen for a couple or 3 hours to get the meals on the wheels ready.
All right, Joe. Joe, we appreciate you calling in and talking about the Senior Junction on Overland Avenue. God bless you, my dear friend, and you have a wonderful day.
We already got started.
Thank you, Joe. Wonderful people over there at the Senior Junction, and I mean that. Really nice people. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, Zeb, I hate to call in twice and make a cloud on your show, but, you know, I've been going to a lot of football games. I've got grandkids that play football. And, you know, the coach sometimes grabs their mask because they don't want them to get hurt. I know I seen my grandson tackle a guy and look down while he was doing it. And, you know, you can get hurt if you don't keep your eye on that player. And I've seen several other things like that. They're just trying to improve them kids. They're not there trying to hurt them.
That's right.
And coaches that take on the jobs, you know, on the level that they're at, don't get any pay for it. They just volunteer their time, and they're just trying to pass their knowledge on to where them kids learn a lot.
Well, it doesn't make any difference if they're paid coaches or if they're just volunteers. I mean, some of the kids today in athletics have turned into the Sugarland Fairies, and quite frankly, I think it's ridiculous.
Well, I'll tell you what, I watched the game last night. It was just a knockdown drag-out, and it was 8th graders, and they just played their heart out. And then both sides played. I can't credit one better than the other. And it was just a wonderful game. It's probably one of the best games I've ever been to in my life.
Wow.
I just really enjoyed it.
Jerry, thank you for your input again.
Your way, I've said enough. We shouldn't criticize people for trying to make people better.
There you go.
We should criticize people that are trying to dumb them down.
There you go.
That's the thing that's bad. If you go into school and you're taught math, 2 and 2 is 29. That's baloney. And there's no common sense to it at all. It's just a waste of time. And I just can't understand it.
Jerry, thank you very much. I appreciate your call, my dear friend.
You bet. You have a wonderful day. May the Lord bless you and your audience.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Wheels, we got a little bit of feedback on the line if you kind of ride that a little bit. Caller, I'm going to be right with you. Don't go away. I want to tell everybody about Barry Equipment and Rental. And I've got to say this publicly right now. I want somebody to go into Barry Equipment and Rental and ask for Juan at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley and tell him that you heard me on the radio this morning say, and this hurts, congratulations to Juan and his Milwaukee Brewers. They beat my Cubs last night, and today is a day of mourning. But happy for him. Barry Equipment and Rental, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley with Juan, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls with Eli, and the Nampa location. They've got all the Bobcats. And by the way, right now, 0% interest up to 60 months on the Bobcats. And they've got them in all shapes and sizes. Don't know how to run one? Well, they've got a big sandbox right out behind the location, and they'll teach you. You'll be a pro. You stop in and see them today for equipment rentals and retail equipment sales. Barry Equipment and Rental, Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa. Caller, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I see your Cubs banners flying at half-mast.
You know, if all of a sudden I start breaking up and tearing up, I hope you'll understand.
I will. They had a great year last year, and they had a great year this year.
No, at the end of the season, the last 30 to 45 days of the season, the Cubs offense went into an early winter hibernation, and their bats had big holes in them.
Yeah, we all get those slumps now and then.
Yeah.
But that coach, how many kids have been hurt by a coach grabbing the face mask?
I don't think I have records on anyone.
Exactly. But how many kids did it get their attention that the coach wasn't very happy with what they did and they need to straighten up?
But it's all a part of our culture of, oh my goodness, my little boy, why, the coach yelled at him. Or in the case of the mother back east in Connecticut where her kid was not put on the varsity soccer team, so naturally, what does the mother do? She sues the school.
Exactly. Yeah, I've seen kids that their parents have fought all their battles through high school and all their battles growing up, and the kid never had to, I guess, suffer the consequences of bad judgment.
Yeah.
And they're in their almost 40 years old, and they're a non-functioning adult. They cannot hold a job. They cannot maintain any sort of stable livelihood.
Well, Doug, how many times have you watched a football game? Yeah, I'll stick with football just for a minute. Caller number 2, don't go away. I'll be right with you, I promise. How many times have you watched a football game and the coach is trying to say something to the player? Maybe it's a linebacker that didn't line up in the right position and missed the tackle. Might be a defensive back. It might be the quarterback. And they go to the sideline and the coach is talking to him and they're looking all over except at the coach, and there is nothing. There is nothing that infuriates me more than when I'm talking to somebody and they're gazing off into the heavens.
Yeah, it's just like talking to a brick wall. I mean, they're not registering what you're saying. If they're looking you in the eye, then they're understanding what you're saying.
You got it. And if you have to make them look you in the eye, so be it. And I think this criticism of Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M is absolutely a farce.
I think so, too. And I want to say kudos to that College of the Ozarks.
Did you see that?
I loved it.
Oh.
And did you see and hear that those kids are graduating from college with a degree,
yep,
debt-free?
I said that earlier this morning, and I sat there and watched the various excerpts that they had with the college, the president, and many of the hierarchy in the school. And I'll tell you what, if I was a kid again, that's where I'd want to go to school.
Exactly. I mean, they uphold the nation's patriotism, they uphold God, and Christianity, and hard work.
Yep.
and knowledge.
Amen to all of the above. Hey, man, give us your spiel quickly. I got another call.
All right, everybody, let's do what we can for our seniors. Let's rent their facilities for our upcoming holiday parties, and go have lunch at a senior center.
There you go.
Go have lunch. You will be enlightened.
All right.
God bless.
You're the man. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Minnecasia Hearts for Seniors. Holly Rowe, if you're listening, you have hit it out of the park on this idea. It's fantastic. And if you want to stay home, all you have to do is call them, and they can help you with a lot of personal assistance with meal prep and personal hygiene and light housekeeping and maybe a little companionship during the days. Hey, seniors, you give them a call at 312-5715. That number again, 312-5715. Minnecasia Hearts for Seniors at 135 East 23rd Drive in Burley. Call Holly at 312-5715. Caller, I am so sorry. Thank you very much.
Zeb, I hate to correct you, but the Cubbies didn't play the Brewers. They played the Rockies last night.
Did I say the Brewers? I apologize. They played the Brewers the day before. I apologize for that misstep. They played the Brewers the day before, and that's what sent them into this one-game playoff with the Rockies. And I know you would love to drive the nails into my hands, so I apologize, Robert the Great. I'm sorry I made the misstep.
Zeb, have a good day. Did you have a good birthday?
I did. The family came over last night. Deanne made a great cake for me, and it was fun. Thank you.
Happy birthday late again.
All right, sir.
See you later.
All right, thank you. He caught me. I did make that faux pas, and I'm glad he corrected me. Wheels, we're getting a ton of feedback, so if you could help me a little bit, I'd appreciate that. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I started earlier this morning telling you about Hillary Clinton, and, you should see some of the emails we get. Oh, you shouldn't pick on Hillary. Why not? Why not? Hillary's back in the news again. She's nothing more than a disgusting old lady that has not learned she's not wanted in politics anymore. She keeps calling us that believe in the principles of what this administration is doing to raise our economy out of the depths and the doldrums, deplorables. She calls us racist if we're against illegal immigration. She calls us sexist if we don't believe all these crying wannabes that are pointing their finger at Kavanaugh with no truth or any evidence. And I'm kind of sick of hearing Hillary Clinton. All this garbage from the mouth of Hillary Clinton that is nothing more than a sore loser. And the degradation of Trump and his policies, we're seeing an economy that's starting to grow even bigger and bigger and bigger and better. We're seeing our security measures around the globe being respected by other countries around the globe. And we're seeing our military take on the shine and the honor that they deserve. So do I want to go back to the Democrat stranglehold on our economy? The Democrat degradation of our society, our values, our morals? No. No. I don't want anything to do, whether it's on a local basis, state basis, or national basis, anything to do with the Democrats and their philosophy, which I find in the gutter. And remember, in order to keep the people like Hillary, Pelosi, Feinstein, Durbin, Booker, Mr. Spartacus, at bay, we need to go vote in November and make sure they do not take over power. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to have the weather forecast real quick, and our weather brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they absolutely give a very comprehensive diagnostic hearing evaluation, and they can help you with your hearing needs. That's right. All you need to do is call for an appointment. That number is 312-0957. Of course, you got to hook the 208 in front of it. 312-0957. Absolutely the best. And they're doctors of audiology over there, really understand hearing and can help you. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, located right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room. You call them today. Caller, I'll be right with you. Quickly, the weather from Gina.
Here's a look at your weather forecast for this Wednesday. Honestly, today, not too bad, but we are expecting rain showers for tonight and for the rest of the week. Here's your weather forecast for us up at the ranch. We're expecting partly sunny skies today. Winds out of the southwest, right around 8 miles an hour. Expecting a high of 69 tonight. Showers could move in, about a 60% chance of that happening with mostly cloudy skies. Expecting a low of 48. Tomorrow, chance of showers and then thunderstorms possible in the afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies. Expecting a high of 62 for Thursday night. 40% chance of showers before midnight. Other than that, transitioning to partly cloudy skies. Expecting a low of 36. Then for Friday, sunny skies with a high of 57. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the range.
She does I'm so glad that I asked her to do our weather for our program over the last many years. She really is good. Thank you, Gina. And the weather brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. That number again to call. Make an appointment so they can help you. 312-0957. Caller, thank you. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, Zeb. I agree totally. I've lost what little respect I had for Democrats. I just think they've sold their soul to the devil. I mean, they're just flat evil, the kind of nonsense that's been going on. I mean, it's despicable. I think it's going to backfire on them, and I think it's going to backfire on them big time. And so, I mean, people are starting to really see through all of this, even those that don't pay that much attention. They see these things, and they realize that the mainstream media is just an extension of the Democratic Party. But I'd like to, comment about this Georgetown professor that Fair, I guess, is the last name, and Georgetown itself. Carroll Quigley came from Georgetown. He was Bill Clinton's mentor, and he was the one that wrote the book Tragedy and Hope. And the book, the title comes from the tragedy that we didn't accept socialism, but the hope was that we'd be forced into it. Mm-hmm. And electing these Democrats at any level, we're going to be forced into it. But, there's a lot of people got their hands out, as you well know, Zeb, wanting free lunch, free school, this and that and the other. And somebody's got to pay for that. And, us taxpayers are on the hook for all of that. And now we're, 21 trillion. That's 21,000 billions. I mean, it's a lot of money.
Well, let me interrupt a little bit. Adrian, let me jump in with you a little bit. And Idaho is not immune to some of the very dangerous Democrat ploys that are going on across the nation, whether it's Kirsten Gillibrand, whether it's Alexandria Cortez, or right here with Paulette Jordan. I am very, very concerned about her trying to run for the governorship. I find her campaign, I find some of her stances on the issues, some of her radical statements like if Kavanaugh's taken to the Supreme Court, it'll be an attack on all women. That kind of asinine, ridiculous, and very uneducated statement. They hurt people when they say that.
Well, absolutely. And, you have to realize, like this Deborah Silver, I think she's co-chairman of Planned Parenthood. And I think the latest from 2017, there were 331,000 known abortions.
Yeah.
I mean, killing babies. That's what the Democrats stand for. Taking our guns. Open the borders, We got whooping cough coming in the area, and even the liberals are admitting it's coming in with the illegal aliens. So, it's just really sad that we've allowed our country to get into this shape.
I agree. I totally agree.
Kavanaugh in there, and we need to hold our elected people's feet to the fire. They take an oath to uphold the Constitution. Part of that, Article 4, Section 4, has to do with invasion. We're being invaded, and we just don't realize it, I think.
I agree with you, Adrian. I got to run. I got to get some more calls on and a commercial. But what you said this morning as far as invaded, yes, we are, and we are continuing to be. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you. His points are well taken, quite frankly, and I just can't respect what's going on with the Democratic Party over this Kavanaugh. I just don't even know where to go with this thing anymore. There's so much sleaze. Now they're resorting to his personality because when he was sitting there in front of the committee, they said, well, oh my goodness, he lost his temper at us. Why? We don't think his temperament is fit for the Supreme Court. Listen! The man has been dragged through the manure. His wife and him have sat there and had these stupid, frivolous Democrats ask him questions and make accusations about him without any evidence or proof. It's hurt his kids. It's hurt his relationship with other people. There's even been some of these knotheads that have said he shouldn't even be qualified after these hearings to be a basketball coach, and still no evidence against him. And then they criticize the man for getting in front of a microphone and looking at these nincompoops like Kamala Harris and Dick Durbin and Mr. Spartacus, Cory Booker, and Feinstein, right on down the list, and losing his temper for the way he's been treated? Are you kidding me? I thought he was extremely reserved. I thought that, honestly, if it were me or you, and a lot of you better fess up and be honest about it, you'd have probably looked at him and, like I would have said, hey, one at a time, let's go out in the backyard and we'll take care of this. It's been not only rude and crude, what they've done to this man and his family, it's been absolutely devastating permanently for this man. And it sends a message to anyone else with a good personality, a wanting to serve personality, a wanting to help their country personality. Oh boy, don't go. They're going to crucify you. They're going to vilify you. They're going to tear you apart. Nothing good is going to come out of what the Democrats are doing. Nothing. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget, great big fall tire sale going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, these are good people. These are good people that really depend on service to you. Absolutely. You need new tires? Well, listen. Many of the tires are on sale right now for your car, your pickup, your SUV, all your trailers, etc. And I urge you to go in there, and they can help you get the right tread design, and they've got all the sizes for all your vehicles, and save money. Save money. So get in there right now for that big fall tire sale. And don't forget, too, the best of front-end alignments, shocks and struts, batteries, brake service, absolutely, all at every location, all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. The best. Absolutely. You remember that elevator film with Senator Jeff Flake from Arizona? His last name absolutely befits him, Flake. And he's standing there meekly in the corner of the elevator, and the women that are supposedly protesters against Kavanaugh are hammering at him. Oh, now it's coming out that was a setup, as if we didn't know. A setup that was bought and paid for by Soros's money. Hook, line, and sinker. Very well coordinated with the cameras and the very actor-like person making all these accusations and the verbiage and everything. And Jeff Flake, I condemn him. I just do not like Jeff Flake at all. He reminds me of a guy that's, he wasn't picked for anything in high school, and he's got kind of an attitude of, oh, woe is me. That's Jeff Flake. And he fell for this thing, hook, line, and sinker, and then demanded another FBI investigation. It's ridiculous. It's all orchestrated, and it's all planned out by the liberal left to create more chaos and more sleaze. We're going to take a little break and come back in about 7 minutes with my buddy old Dave Vigo back in Indianapolis, Indiana. And then at 9:30, we're going to go out to the left coast and talk to Casey Royer, an attorney with the Pacific Legal Foundation. We got a whole bunch of things going on here this morning. And we appreciate your calls and everything else for being right here on Zeb at the Ranch with us Monday through Thursday. And we'll take a little break right now and listen to the big boys from CBS mess everything up. We'll be back in 7 minutes. Oh, good morning on a Wednesday, October 3, Zeb at the Ranch, and of course with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with the big fall tire sale going on right now. And of course some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. We're going to have more right after this good word for Western Waste.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal.
Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. And don't forget, if you're in the middle of harvest and you're going, holy smokes, I forgot to order the porta potties at the end of the field, they've got them. Absolutely, don't forget that, 734-6969. And don't forget, too, that they've got on the route service pickup of your garbage weekly. You call to get on that route service, 734-6969. Always at your disposal, Western Waste Services. Deanne, could I have you close that door just a little bit, please, if you would? And right now, before we go over to Dave Bigo on the line with us, we want to also remind you that on Thursdays at 9:17, we learn more about some of the great folks at Cassia Regional Hospital. They really have some dedicated medical experts that are serving you, your friends, your neighbors at Cassia Regional Hospital. Quality care close to home. And we're going to learn more about some of the great people and services at Cassia Regional Hospital again tomorrow, Thursdays at 9:17. While we have just a moment also, I want to remind you about another great dynamic business with people that really, really care. I'm talking about Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert with Joel Heward, his family, and his staff. And they are there to serve you. And believe me, in a time when comfort and support really are necessary, they're there to serve you when there's the passing of a loved one. Please remember, always with the highest ethical standards and unquestioned integrity. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, 436-5636. Joel Heward, and he's also serving you at Morris and Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. It is Wednesday already, and this man sent me a very nice birthday card to let me know that I'm getting old and archaic. Good morning, Dave Bigo. How are you?
Well, Well, I wish you a belated happy birthday. Hope you had a great birthday yesterday.
I did. And you know, for as long as I've known you, I don't think I know your birthday. So why don't you tell the world when it is?
Well, I told you 2 weeks ago. Mine was on September 18th, a Tuesday.
Well, then, I apologize. I'm writing it down, September 18th. I owe you a list of apologies and probably another bottle of wine to be stacked up on the 97 other bottles that I owe you.
Yep, I agree.
Okay. Dave, I don't even know where to start this morning with this mess, this filthy mess that's going on with the Kavanaugh nomination, the Democrats with their delay, the Democrats with their unfounded allegations and no evidence. What's your take on this whole rotten mess?
This is the far left, and they started this thing, back when Woodrow Wilson was in office, because they want us to become a socialist communist country. And, behind the scenes, the unions picked up on these tactics. The unions came from the mafia. And, that's their tactics to bring people down, is to go in and, intimidate them and destroy them and tell lies and misinformation and everything they can do to get people to back down and run away, and then they, the other side, the people they know they can brainwash, they tell them misinformation and lies and all this stuff, and how good that they'll take care of them and everything, and this is what it's all about, Zeb, and I've been through it. I know it. I see it, and people need to one thing that they really got to start doing is not listen to what these people have to say, but watch what they do, because that tells the story. And there's actually a guy that came out and kind of wrote an article on that very same thing here not too long ago. And it's, again, watch what people do, not what they say.
But, Dave, this thing is like a cancer. And it started off as, well, he's not qualified. Well, he might go against Roe versus Wade. He might this, he might that. We can't let him in. We've got to stop him any way, shape, or form. Now, with the allegations and accusations not treading water, and a lot of them are falling to the bottom of the fish tank, they're going to go after his personality. And some of these absolute insane Democrats are saying, oh, well, the way that he addressed us in front of that hearing when he lost his temper, why, he's not, he doesn't have the temperament to be a Supreme Court judge. I dare you, Dave Beagle, because I know I'd fail. If somebody had raked you over the coals like the Democrats had and demeaned you, hurt your family, your friends, and everything else, don't you think you'd show a little animus towards those people too?
Well, I would, and they did that to me. They in the press and everything, and talking to other people, they talked about how bad a person I was and how I treated people bad, and I forced our employees to use dangerous chemicals and hazardous equipment, and we know they were in our neighborhood all the time, looking in the windows of our house, and they're doing everything they can to intimidate you, because what they want him to do is they want Kavanaugh just to back down and step out, and this is just part of their whole program, and people got to understand that, and we need people to have more backbone and step up, and look at these people now and say, we don't believe you, and we're not going to go along with what you say.
Yeah, but the asinine attitude of some of these Democrats, for instance, using one or two. Dick Blumenthal and Wheels, watch the feedback again, it's really bad. Dick Blumenthal, Richard Blumenthal, lied about his service to Vietnam. Lied about it. And he's one of the questioning senators. Cory Booker, abuse. The list goes on. Dick Durbin, the rest of them, they couldn't actually have their personalities investigated because of their past transgressions.
Well, that's right, and that's what I tell people. Don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do or have done, and that tells you more than anything. And, when I went after the SEIU and they went after me and I debated them some of the things, I brought up some of this stuff. And it was amazing how they would just cower down. And that's what you have to do with these people. You have to expose who they really are.
Absolutely. Wheels, again, the feedback. Please ride the game, buddy. And we have a call. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air with Dave Bego. Please, go ahead.
Yes, good morning, Cecigo. After reading what the Red Brigade's all about, I've done quite a bit of research on that. Do you feel that the Democratic Party has been using the same tactics as the Red Brigade has to overthrow our government?
I'll have him answer that on the air. Go ahead, Dave.
Because I know a lot of Democratic people, and there's some good people, okay? But the problem is what we're dealing with is the far left side of it, and that's when you get the people like Soros and the unions and other people that are just they believe that they're just smarter than we are and that they need to control all this, and so they use these tactics, and also they don't want to have to be subjected to our capitalistic free market society. They want a socialist communist society so they can control things, and that's where this whole thing is going. And I know, and I've talked to some Democratic people out here in Indiana that they don't like the way this thing's going either, and how it's being handled. But the problem is their party now is being controlled a lot by these people on the left.
Absolutely. Dave, it's now turned into another intersection to where, like I said a moment ago, that if these accusers don't pan out for the Democrats, they're ready to go after his personality. And now, this story, when it first came out, it stopped me in my tracks, like I said, first hour on the show this morning, because it's so frivolous and so stupid. Some of the Democrats, like Booker, etc., are saying, well, he's not qualified to be a Supreme Court judge because 35 years ago, he threw ice on someone. Oh, my goodness. He ought to be put on an island surrounded by sharks for throwing ice on someone. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that, and I'm not surprised about any of this. Like I say, I've been through it, I've seen it, and they use anything and everything they can to achieve their objective, and it's bad. I mean, people like that need to look in the mirror and really decide who they really are and what they really are. But they won't do that because it's all about them and what they want to accomplish and what they want to control. And, I've seen so many of this and been through this with so many people, it's unbelievable.
I want to shift gears a little bit, and I want to ask you about a news story that started up on, it started on Sunday, and it's gone through the week so far. And it's about Texas A&M coach Jimbo Fisher. Now, I'm going to tell you how I feel about it, and then I want your response. There was a video of Jimbo Fisher talking to one of his players on the sideline, and the player, and this just tease me off. When these college players or any player, they kind of ignore the coach and they're looking around up in the stands, they're looking at the lights, they're looking everywhere except the coach in the eye. And he reached up and he grabbed that face mask to get his attention, and he said to the player, basically, look at me, I'm talking to you. And now Jimbo Fisher is under a lot of attack from the liberal loons saying that, he physically assaulted his player. What are your thoughts on this? Because I've got a lot of things I'd like to say.
It's crazy stuff. It really is, and you gotta, people have got to understand that we go through things in life, and that, you got to, you're going to have people that do this and people that get outside the ropes, and you got to bring them back in, and they got to understand how to handle themselves well. And that if they got a problem with you, that's fine. Talk to you in a decent language, and that. And do things the right way, but just because a coach, grabbed him by the helmet, I mean, he didn't tear it off, he didn't hurt the guy,
that's right,
him or anything like that. But again, the left is going to pick up on all this stuff, and they're going to use it to attack the right.
But, Dave, you've been in athletics all your life, as I have. And you know as well as anyone that in the heat of the moment, when you got a player, have a player or a group of players that are not paying attention, not doing the job as coached, and letting the rest of the team down, sometimes you got to get their attention. And when you call them over to visit with you, and they ignore looking in your eye, and they look all over the stadium like, oh, give me a break, coach, leave me alone, I'm better than you. You doggone right I'm going to get that player's attention.
Yeah, well, and and I've been through that, and I coached kids a lot as my kids grew up and stuff like that. If I had one, it was a problem, and I can remember in a little league baseball game I was having a problem with one of my pitchers doing that, and I called timeout and walked out and tried to talk to him on the mound there, and he wouldn't listen to me. So I just looked at one of my other pitchers, said, "Come over here, you're pitching now." I looked at the kid, I said, "Please go on the bench and keep your be quiet."
Yep,
and,
absolutely.
It's funny. He walked over, and you could tell he was embarrassed, but he sat on the bench and he kept quiet. And the next game he came out, he was back on it again and doing what he should do.
But then you also have the parents, like that wonderful mother that wanted to sue the school because her son, who had no talent, she wanted him on the varsity soccer team. The coach said he wasn't that good, so they didn't put him on the varsity soccer team, so she got a lawyer and sued the school. This is insane, David.
It is. I mean, but this is where this country is going, because people, because of the left and they're saying, you can do and get anything you want, and you need to go out and do it. And they're listening to this, and they're listening to the media, and the things they're saying. It's like, the media, the attacks on Kavanaugh are crazy, and we have to stop this. And I think Trump's done a good job of keeping a strong backbone and standing up in that, but we need more people in Washington to stand up.
Absolutely. By the way, I was going to ask you, this morning on the news, it was on Fox, and they did cutaways quite a few times to various students and leadership of a college called College of the Ozarks in Missouri. I watched this, and I'm not ashamed to say this, that I was so proud of these young people. I was so proud of the college and the leadership of that college. These students have to apply, and once they've applied and been accepted, they have to work for the college for their tuition. It's teaching them leadership skills. It's teaching them work skills. And these kids, I couldn't believe it. They were all sitting there so patriotic and gung-ho America and absolutely saluting the flag. And the leader of the school, President Davis, got up there, and absolutely the students were proud of him. Woo! We need more schools like that, Dave.
Well, that's exactly right, because the left, 30, 40 years ago or more, they're the ones that started all this stuff by infiltrating our education system and getting these kids to believe in a socialistic communist type of theory, and that's what they want to do. And we need to wake up the education process and these professors and that socialism doesn't work. It isn't the way. I mean, they make it sound good by saying, "Oh yeah, everybody's the same. Everybody gets the same thing. Everybody gets treated the same, and all that." But they want everybody the same, because when everybody's the same, they're easier to control.
Absolutely. And then, just when we thought she had faded off into obscurity, hope of all hopes, Hillary comes back with another interview yesterday where she ran down the United States, ran down President Trump, ran down us deplorables that agree that his policies, his meaning Trump's, are working. The economy's better, our security, our military, everything is up and better. But she had to come back and run everybody down.
You there?
I hope so, because all of a sudden it got real dead and quiet.
Yeah, it did. It kind of went blank. Well, that's typical Hillary, and I think she's digging her own grave as far as any future elections. Because I think people, with the history of her husband and her family and things that they've done in her history in the White House, in Washington. I think she's continuing to put herself in a bad position.
Let me ask you one final thought here this morning, and I want to revert back to this Kavanaugh mess. Do you think, as a very professional businessman that has had to overcome a lot of problems with the left yourself, do you think that if they have the vote and they get the votes to put Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court, can he be effective, or is this going to absolutely destroy the man?
Well, I hope that he can be effective. He keeps a strong backbone. He can step up and do his job in that. And you just have to understand they're going to do these things, and this is their agenda and their tactics, and you have to learn to work your way through them.
Absolutely. We have a caller with a quick question. Caller, go ahead, please. You're on the air, please.
Well, speaking of Hillary making a run,
Yeah.
it's pretty laughable. But who do they have? Cory Booker, Kamala Harris. Who's going to run? Who's going to emerge from the stellar crowd and lead us to the promised land, the Democratic Communist promised land? I'll hang up.
The caller makes a really good point. I mean, what kind of a platform, and really if Americans would say to Booker or Kamala Harris or any one of these so-called Democratic nominees, what kind of goodness are you going to try to build and help Americans live a better life? They can't answer that question, can they, Dave?
No, and that's it, and that's what you have to ask them in that. And, that's the same thing that the unions did with us, and talk to our employees. We're going to do this for you, we're going to do this for you, and everything. But when you really put them on the spot and you debate them on it, but you got to do it professional. You can't step into their cesspool. You got to do it the right way. And when you do that, it's amazing how they kind of back down and move on.
Well, okay, he's talking about backing down and moving on. I'm a little concerned about the Green Bay Packers. Your Indianapolis Colts, give us a quarter of the season is gone. What's your summation of what they've done right or wrong?
Well, at least your Packers won. Our Packers won. But the Colts, I thought they made a bad decision in the overtime, and, I wish they would have, instead of trying to go for a first down, they'd have punted the ball and put the other team back down and at the end of the field where they wouldn't have had a chance to do a couple of quick plays and win with a field goal. But so I'm hoping. I like the new coach. I do think he's doing some good things. I think it's just going to take a while to get there. As far as the Packers, I think you can tell me more than I can tell you.
Well, I think their defensive secondary is it's not together at all. And I was surprised they played as well as they did last weekend. I would say this, though, and I want your quick answer on this, that as far as ties are concerned in professional football, that is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my life. Too many people are reliant upon wins and or losses. And for ties, that's ridiculous in professional football.
You mean that they don't leave it as a tie?
They shouldn't have ties. There should be a program designed, whether it's in the overtime, whether, like baseball, goes extra innings until there's a winner. And there's overtimes in basketball. But there should never be a tie in professional football.
Well, I agree with that, too. You got to get there, and they need to get that straightened out.
Absolutely. Okay, we got the world's problem solved. I'll meet you at my office, and we're going to run for vice president and president. We'll pick between us who's going to take the top chair. Have a great day, Dave Bigo.
You too. I hope you had a happy birthday again.
I did. Thank you, my dear friend. God bless. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Dave Bigo, back in Indianapolis, Indiana. Good friend. Right now, I want to remind you about Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street and their Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. Yes, they are one of the very, very best. Anywhere, anytime. As a matter of fact, they've been voted Minnecache's best veterinary hospital many, many times. Dr. Bill, Dr. Jordan, the rest of the crew, they say, please please trust your veterinarian. And if you have questions, please get your animals in so they can help keep your animals healthy. They are a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small. They love them all, take care of them all, and want to keep them healthy. Arc Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street, near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. And the number, 678-1177. They have the warm hearts for the cold noses. I love that slogan. Oh, I don't know if their noses are cold, but they're also really good people, and that's our friends over at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Yes, sirree, Bobby, this time of the year. Kind of a transition from being outside every day to then maybe being inside every day with the weather changes. They want you to be comfy, and they want you to enjoy the beauty of your home. Well, they've got everything over there. All the carpet and the luxury vinyl flooring, and they've got all the furniture, and they've got all the mattresses and bedroom sets for a good night's sleep. They've got it all. And you know, with the holidays coming up, oh, they're just around the corner. They're a peak. See them? There they are. You'd better make sure your house is ready to go. So give them a call or stop in at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. 459 Overland in Burley. Number to call, 878-2341. And in just a moment, we're going to have our next guest on the program with us from the Pacific Legal Foundation, so stand by for that. And first of all, I want to remind you, too, about our friends over at Let's Ride. Nick and Randy and the whole crew, my. This is a great time of the year because it's kind of a transition time. You're out in the hills enjoying all the beauty of the colors and everything on your ATVs. And then also you're thinking about, not too far down the road, having your snowmobiles up in the hills. Well, they've got them all at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. Don't forget to stop over, check out everything on the showroom floor, and then all the accessories, too, and the super service department to keep you running at Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24, like I said, between Rupert and the World, where the fun is sold. Right now, let's go to the phone line and say good morning to Pacific Legal Foundation's Casey Royer, attorney. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
Well, if you're doing so fantastic, what part of the country are you in right now, Casey?
I am in Sacramento this morning. It's still pretty toasty here. It's about 80 degrees out, but it's not too bad.
Well, I tell you what, I love the state of California. I think it gets a bad rap and a bad knock by a lot of people, but there is so many nice people and so many scenic values to that state. I want to talk to you this morning about what's going on with automatic protections for possibly so-called threatened plants and animals in this United States. And there's going to be some changes, I think, with the Trump administration. Bring us up to speed on what's going on with the Pacific Legal Foundation with this story.
Yeah, so there's this regulatory kind of rule that the agencies have been using when they list the species as threatened. They automatically apply endangered protections to those animals. Basically, what that means is they're telling people these threatened species can't be killed, they can't be hunted. There's a lot of special provisions that apply to these threatened species that legally don't have to apply. And in fact, when Congress wrote the Endangered Species Act, they determined that threatened species should get lesser protections than endangered species. And the reason for doing that is to encourage encourage protection of these species, to encourage people to want to go out and improve habitat, to figure out ways to protect and regrow populations of these species. But by applying the endangered protections to threatened species, what happens is people just completely shut down and they don't want to participate in bringing these species back from being threatened.
Right.
Now, earlier this year, under the Trump administration, the agency decided that they were no longer going to extend endangered protection to threatened species. And that's really important, and there's been a lot of great moves on this. PLF has encouraged this. We've written letters to the Fish and Wildlife Service saying this is great, and we've actually testified in front of Congress saying that Congress should codify this change in policy because it is so great for species who are listed as threatened.
Okay. I'm going to ask you something, Casey. Are you speaking on a speakerphone right now?
I am not, but here, let me change and see if... Is that a little bit better?
It is, yeah. It was really hard to hear you. I know sometimes phone lines can be very, very negative. Let me ask you, would you give me a definition of a threatened species and or endangered species? How are they really defined?
So a threatened species is going to be one that is on its way to being endangered. That means that without certain regulatory protections, the species could become endangered.
Right.
Now, an endangered species is one that is in immediate threat of going extinct. And those species are really on the point of disappearing from the planet. And those ones should be afforded higher protection than species that are just merely threatened.
All right, I'm going to have Wheels, maybe, if you can, Wheels, enhance the sound a little bit louder. We're having a hard time picking her up. Casey, let me ask you this. The grizzly bear population here in the Northwest, I know over in Montana, Wyoming, etc., the numbers are huge, but yet judges have stepped in and said, oh, no, we can't have a hunt. This is ridiculous. They've got to manage the numbers of these species. Why aren't they allowed?
So the Fish and Wildlife Service determined that the grizzly bear was no longer endangered, and they started the process to delist it. And a judge said they didn't know enough about the bear and that the bear actually hadn't recovered. We've seen this multiple times with the Fish and Wildlife Service, and wolves are one great example. The Fish and Wildlife Service has repeatedly said that wolves are no longer in threat of extinction and have tried to remove them from the list, but they get stopped. And that's by environmental groups. So Congress is looking at changing the way that species are listed and delisted to ensure that the process is not abused and that species who have recovered, which is the goal of the Endangered Species Act, is to recover species. Species that have been recovered get off the list, and that we can go on and manage these species as they should be managed once they're recovered.
Well, Casey, here in the state of Idaho, for instance, the wolf reintroduction program, which was a joke and a half, finally agreements were made that the environmentalists don't want to stand behind. The agreement was for originally 10 breeding pair in the state of Idaho, and now it's up to 15 breeding pairs in the state of Idaho, but the numbers are up over the thousands right now in this state and in the Northwest, and the environmentalists still aren't happy, and they still want more restrictions. These people being referred to as environmentalists, never honor agreements, and they're always out trying to chip away and get more things their way.
Yes, and it's a frequent problem, and hopefully Congress can go ahead and fix some of these problems. They did so with wolves in the Midwest. They actually, congressionally, they wrote a law and passed a law that they would not be on the endangered species list. It looks like they're going to go ahead and do that for wolves in the Northwest as well, which is a great a great thing because, as you and I know, and your listeners know, wolves have been recovered for years. The same case goes with the grizzly bear. It looks like Congress is starting to take steps to delist it through legislation as opposed to waiting for the courts to kind of strike it down because these environmental groups are repeatedly litigating over and over and back on their deals.
You know, Casey, I'm going to just say this, and I'm pretty blunt on this program. I'm sick and tired of these environmental groups and all their money and their arm twisting, and then also bureaucrats that don't know Khmer from Sikkim voting on things and issues that they don't have any education on. And us that live in the area, you and everybody else out here in the West, we're subjected to what these nincompoops dictate to us.
Yeah, it's hard to watch. You know, there's people in Congress who have no idea what's going on. However, there are others that are making some really great changes. And the modernization of the Endangered Species Act is a really good example. That those bills passed out of the Natural Resource Committee last week, and they promised real change to help people on the West Coast who are impacted by these laws have more say in environmental protection and more say in endangered species and prevent some of the abuses that we've seen in the system for the last, 45 years.
What about the grizzly situation, Casey? Kind of a final thought on that. Will these judges, this one judge in particular that stopped that hunt for management, are they going to wake up and smell the coffee? What's going to happen on that grizzly issue in particular?
I can't say. I certainly hope that they'll wake up and smell the coffee. One of the things that's going to happen on this grizzly issue is it'll be appealed to a higher court. Hopefully the higher court will say, yeah, the Fish and Wildlife Service, they thought about this, they looked at the evidence that they have, and they rightly delisted the grizzly bear. But also, maybe they'll get a slap on the hand from Congress, who's looking to fix this issue with legislation and say, enough is enough. This species is recovered.
I wish that, and I say this in all sincerity, I wish that bureaucrats would defer their lack of education and knowledge on these subjects to the people that have boots on the ground, like the Fish and Game Service, whether it's Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, whatever, because they have more of a confirmation of what's going on and also the numbers, etc. Why don't these bureaucrats just get out of the way and tell the environmental movement to get out of the way and let the people that really are the professionals in that field control this issue?
I hope that they do, and I hope that they go ahead and they pass some of these reforms that give some of that power back to the state, back to people who have boots on the ground, ranchers, farmers, people who care about true conservation of the environment and diversity of the environment.
I want to ask you real quickly, what would happen right now where some of these judges have made these idiotic rulings, like in Wyoming or whatever with the grizzly bear hunt? What would happen if the grizzlies came onto private property right now and were doing destructive killing of horses, livestock, etc., and they're taken out, they're shot because of their destructive nature? What happens to the property owner? Are there any real qualms and worries for him?
I'm not entirely sure what the rules on grizzly bears are. I know that if a wolf is on your property and he is attacking your livestock, there is an exemption from criminal liability. But I can't speak to grizzly bears.
Well, there absolutely should be the same thing as the wolves, because I don't think there's a creature in North America that could be more destructive and has more killing power, if you will, than a grizzly bear. And if they're doing the destructiveness and the maiming and the killing of livestock, whatever, they should be taken out. And there shouldn't be ramifications or repercussions against the property owner for trying to protect his own property, be it animals or anything.
Yes, I agree.
Casey, if people want to follow this story through the Pacific Legal Foundation, how do they do that?
They can go online to our website. It's pacificlegal.org, and they can see that and all of our other cases that help protect landowners in the West.
All right. Thank you so much for being on the program this morning. God bless, and come back soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I would like to say right up front, I'm sorry that the phone lines weren't as good as they should have or could have been. Sometimes I get really miffed at the lack of quality on the phone lines, but we did the best we could, and certainly you heard her message. Casey Royer with the Pacific Legal Foundation, thank you for being on the program this morning. Right now, I'd like to tell you a little bit about some friends of mine that Deanna and I have been going there for quite a few years now. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And they are providing accounting services to the Mini-Cache area for well over 50 years. You know, Lyden Crane has been on our program many, many times, and he urges you to be aware that tax rates have changed and deductions have changed, and there are new deductions, and like I said, leave it to the IRS, probably some alterations and changes on old deductions. Well, you need to know about these for you, your family, and your business, so please get a hold of them today. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And they've got 2 locations, Burley and Rupert. You call and make an appointment today. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's a look at your weather forecast for this Wednesday. Honestly, today, not too bad, but we are expecting rain showers for tonight and for the rest of the week. Here's your weather forecast for Zep at the Ranch. We're expecting partly sunny skies today. Winds out of the southwest, right around 8 miles an hour. Expecting a high of 69 tonight. Showers could move in, about a 60% chance of that happening with mostly cloudy skies. Expecting a low of 48. Tomorrow, chance of showers and then thunderstorms possible in the afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies. Expecting a high of 62 for Thursday night. 40% chance of showers before midnight. Other than that, transitioning to partly cloudy skies. Expecting a low of 36. Then for Friday, sunny skies with a high of 57. That's your weather forecast for Zep at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to you by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. As I said, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cache area for well over 50 years. The best serving you. I look forward to some free time, and I've got some free time right now. I'd like you to call me about any issue. Come on, folks, get on the telephone, give me a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Got a free moment or two, so we'll discuss anything you want to talk about, whether it's the Kavanaugh nomination, or whether it's Hillary, or whether it's that great college. Oh, my goodness. I really do wish that if I were a young man again and going to college, wow, the attributes of going to the College of the Ozarks with the patriotism and the being accepted, and you get a chance to work for your tuition, and when you leave your school, that school, you're going to go out in the world debt-free with an education that's really going to help you in a field of endeavor that you want, man. And the kids, when I saw these kids, 18 to 22, whatever, they were excited about their school, proud of their school. It was really, really nice. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Well, I have a minute waiting for your call that I know is coming in. I want to remind you about Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. They really take the time and the effort to serve you with the best of life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and more. They're very, very dedicated and responsive to your needs. So call them today for an appointment, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Thank you, caller. Good morning. You're on the air. Thank you.
Zeb, Earl. I was thinking after your last interview with the Pacific Legal Fund people, and I wanted to call in then, but I thought I better let you get through it all. But other than destroying the grizzly bears or wolves that are a problem, could we just move them down and put them in areas where we've got problems with border crossings?
I know you say that.
I'm being really serious here.
Yeah, I can tell. But, it's not a bad idea, because I can just imagine some of the drug cartels coming across the border, and all of a sudden when he stands up on its hind legs, about a 10-foot tall grizzly, that might have a tendency to make somebody go back south.
That thought never crossed me till today, and I'd like to get that across to that lawyer there and bring that up, because if we're going to build one wall, and there's already some walls down there, we can just develop some habitat down there, and we'd solve a lot of problems.
The problem is, Earl, in all seriousness, is that in this day and age, everything is given an exception except to human beings. In other words, whether it's the wolves, whether it's the grizzlies, whether it's the spotted owl, all these animals and different situations take precedence over human beings, lives, jobs, families, etc. And I'm sick of it.
Well, yeah, I have to go along with that, but with the border problems and that we're facing, there's got to be. Well, I don't know if there is got to be, but we got to settle that problem.
I agree. And whether it will or not, that's another story. Thank you, Earl. Appreciate you. God bless. Have a wonderful day up there.
I thought I'd put a grin on your face this morning.
You did, just like a... All right, sir. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. A lot of things going on in the world. We'd appreciate... But I don't know why we're getting such a terrible line this morning, Wheels. What is the problem over there that I'm getting just nothing but static and feedback? I don't understand. Help me.
I'm not exactly sure either. I know that the last guest, she had a very soft voice, and we can only control so much.
Yeah, I understand, but let's see if we can't. The next hour, we've got Michelle Owens coming up. Hopefully, we can have it a little better. If I can't hear in my remote location, we got problems in River City, so I just thought I'd ask you about that. Yeah. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Zeb, they don't really know for sure about any of these elections that are coming up, because, you know how it is. Some of them are, closer than others. Others are more certain. But this midterm, what really needs to happen is there needs to be a slap in the face of all Democrats across this nation, and to show them that the people that elected Trump are still out here. When they were talking the other day, not last night, but the rally he had, or the event he had before that, he said there was a person was there, and they said there were 15,000 people that couldn't get in.
Right.
And you say, well, I'm telling you, man, this is big time stuff, where you've got, people who want to come and see the president that bad. I mean, his rallies are bigger than, in some cases bigger than they were during the election. I mean, when he was running for president. And so, you see, there's all kinds of signs that say that the blue wave is a joke, and the red will, what we need to do is gain in both houses.
The thing I'm concerned about, Randy, and we've talked about it on this program a lot, is the apathy and the alienation of people not going to the polls November 6th for various and sundry reasons. I got a hangnail. I broke out in a rash. My toilet is overflowing. All these silly, frivolous reasons. But if they don't go vote, and they don't voice their opinion, we are very, very likely to be taken back over with the likes of Feinstein and Pelosi and Durbin and Booker and Harris. I don't want to live in a United States of America that is regressive to the point where the Democrats are going to come in, take away our freedoms, take away our amendments to our Constitution, change our Constitution, and change our way of life. I don't want that.
I don't think it's, I think that, let me tell you, the millennials, they're pretty weak. They don't show up. They won't show up and vote. They may, whatever weak excuse they have that day, people like us, the baby boomers, we're going to get out and go vote. And a lot of people, I mean, if you got, these rallies are just monstrous. And, if that's any indication, then, across this nation. And then, of course, there's House races in California, Florida, and Texas that are extremely unique because we haven't held those seats in Texas, we haven't held that seat for 139 years, and we're ahead. And so it's just like Heidi Heitkamp up in North Dakota. She's behind.
Yep.
And I don't know what's going on with this. How would the Alaskans vote for this senator? You'd think these people in Alaska were kind of like Idahoans, but I guess I must be mistaken.
Well, I would love to have a camera at a Hillary Clinton rally where she stands up and says, "Good evening, my fellow American," whereas Trump stands up and says, "Good evening to multi-thousands of Americans." The Democratic Party, with the so-called leadership they have, they're chasing away people with any common sense.
Well, I don't know that Hillary can stand up. Any given day, she may not be able to stabilize and stay steady, So, her health has always been a question. And I don't know what keeps her propped up, but it's interesting how she even survives. She seems to be in very questionable health at times. I don't know what they're doing to keep her propped up.
Well, and nobody, regardless of their politics, would we ever wish any ill will with their health. And I tend to agree with you that she is not a very healthy person at this current time. Randy, I got to run to the news, but I always look forward to talking to you. Thanks, buddy.
See ya.
All right, take care. I am going to kind of fold up this one for this hour, and we're going to open up another one next hour with Michelle Owens and Seth Coyne, our guests coming on the show. We urge you to stay tuned. Zeb at the Ranch on a Wednesday, October 3rd, and hope you're having a great day. Call us. We'd love the calls right here at Zeb at the Ranch, K-Bar, 1230 a.m. We're going to go to the news. Be back in about 7. Oh, good morning. Hour number 3, Zeb at the Ranch. Thank you for tuning in. And, of course, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a big fall tire sale going on right now. And don't forget some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. You know what? I know somebody else that wants you to get back to the way things were. A Dino Septic Service. You say, what are you talking about? Well, I'll tell you what, when you've got a septic tank that needs to be pumped out, you don't want to stand out there and do that. And when you've got sewer and sink drain lines cleaned, you don't want to do that. Well, these folks do. And they do a wonderful job, Dino Septic Service. And they've recently expanded their business to better serve everybody that gives them a call. And the numbers are 436-6526 or in Burley, 678-1638. Fast, fair, friendly service. The best. Dino Septic Service with that big truck that says smells cargo on the way. You give them a call today. Dino's Septic Service. Right now, we're going to go to the phone line. And we've got a lady on the phone that is, she has been on this program before, and today, with everything that's going on with the Kavanaugh situation, I can't wait to get her on the air and talk to her about it. She's a spokesperson for the Center for Prosecutor Integrity and a great writer, a regular on TV and radio. Michelle Owens, good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Nice to have you on the program, and I think the way I want to start off our interview this morning is like this. My son is right now 44 and has his own family, etc. They're doing well, but if he were back in college, I really don't know what I'd tell him. How to watch out, be careful, and be wary of what's going on in society today. How would you respond to that last statement?
Well, I'm asked that question all the time because I represent boys in college who are falsely accused of sexual assault. And, regardless of what you think about the Kavanaugh issue, I think everybody can, look at that and say, 36 years ago, that's the kind of thing we're dealing with. And in college, and I'll get to your answer, but in college, a lot of times these assaults and these claims of assault come 2 years later, 18 months after the fact. So what I tell guys is to be very careful and to choose the girl that you date. Don't let the girl choose you because your instincts are going to be better. And what I've noticed, I've kind of put together a pattern. A lot of times you have some guys who haven't had a lot of experience with girls, and the first one that shows some interest in them, they are thrilled and kind of go all out. But instead of picking the girl themselves, they let the girl pick them, and that's a bad idea. You need to pick the girl yourself. Otherwise, this sounds crazy, but whenever you're together with a girl, in any way, it doesn't matter if you're watching TV and literally didn't touch each other, have somebody see you when you leave and see that she is happy and smiling and doesn't look upset or traumatized. Those are the things that win cases in the administrative level at the university. If I have that kind of evidence, then I usually win. And I have a pretty high win rate, but it's because I can find that kind of evidence. And it's interesting because I'm doing the work that the school is supposed to be doing. The school is supposed to investigate and find all of the evidence, and they don't. And that's what I do. I mean, I'm doing the school's job. The school should be paying me instead of the kids.
Michelle, I'm going to be really honest.
All the advice I can give him is to be careful because I can't even tell him don't have sex, don't date, because it doesn't matter. I have kids right now. I have a lawsuit with a kid who was found not responsible for sexual assault, but they still suspended him, basically expelled him from school because he made the investigation difficult. I mean,
oh my!
There's no winning.
Michelle, I got to be honest with you, and I'm very blunt on this program, and I think you'll respect that. But I'm an old man. But when I look back to my college days, and I look back to the dating, and I look back to certain events, certain girls, etc., my goodness, everything that you were talking about a few moments ago could have been a real social hurdle and hazard for me as what takes place in society today. This is unreal.
Well, there's a victim mentality going on right now. It's a badge of honor to be a victim, and that is a frightening thing. I'm also a therapist, which really well suits me for this position of what I'm doing. I never knew that both of those would be needed, but who knew this was going to be going on in society? But we teach people as therapists not to be victims, not to take on that role, because it disempowers you. It takes away your ability to feel in control of your life. But now we have a group of women who are going to emerge from college, and some of them, are older already in doing this, and they are victims and proud of it. It's a badge of honor. And, that's what the Me Too movement is all about. It started out probably with some good intentions, but it really is about, I'm in the group too. I'm one of those too. And being a victim allows you to release all responsibility for anything that you do wrong. This happened to me, but it's not my fault. I was a victim. I mean, you can use that for every area of your life, and it's a really disempowering thing for women.
Michelle, my biggest concern right now is the reshaping or revamping of our laws and our judicial system and the way it was set up that you are innocent until proven guilty. But right now with these allegations that people and women in particular can throw against men, oh, he did this 30 years ago or he did this 2 years ago, then the man, it looks like, is forced with society and the pressures today to prove himself innocent. This whole thing is turned upside down.
Well, you know, what's scary to me is that it started in the colleges and it spread. And you know, even President Trump commented, which is the first time I think a president has ever commented on, you know, the standard of proof of anything. But he said, you know, it was always, you know, you're innocent until proven guilty in America, and now that's no longer the case with sexual assault. And I'm not sure why this one crime has been singled out, but with sexual assault, you are guilty until proven innocent. And you better have a really good person investigating your case to prove you innocent, because it's hard to prove a negative. And when you haven't done it, it's very difficult. So, yeah, that's the biggest concern that we have. You know, and just to keep talking, but there is a woman that I was doing some research before this, you know, radio thing about victims. And there's a woman named Laura Logan that you've probably never heard of. She was a CBS correspondent for Egypt. Have you ever heard of her?
I have not.
You've probably ever heard of her.
No.
She was horribly raped in 2011 in Egypt on assignment. And she's done one interview about it, and her comment was, I am not going to let this define me and make me a victim. And we've never heard about her again. But that's a real rape. What happened to her was horrendous and real. And what we're seeing with these women is it's just, you know, it's sexual assault and, you know, oh, he touched me in the wrong way, or even it was bad sex. It wasn't real assault. The definitions are not the same definitions that we as the general public think of for sexual assault and rape.
But as an attorney, I mean, wouldn't you laugh this case out of any other courtroom when the woman says, well, this happened 35 years ago, and then you as a prosecuting attorney or whatever would ask questions like, well, where did it happen? Well, I can't remember. When did it happen? Well, I'm not sure. Who was in the room? Was there anybody else there? Well, I'm not sure who it was. Wouldn't this be laughable to the point of just throwing it out of court?
Well, it wouldn't make it to court because the prosecutor wouldn't take it. And I know that because I have had cases that are 2 years old that we've questioned, you know, do we need to be concerned about the criminal, you know, repercussions with this? And the prosecutors have said, you know, 2 years, I'm not going to do that. With no evidence, no DNA evidence, no evidence of any wrongdoing, I'm not going to take it. And, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm insensitive to rape because I know rape happens. I know people that have been raped. And actually, that's one reason that I'm so angry about this, because whenever you have these fake victims, they take away from what has really happened to people, like Laura Logan that I was talking about, and several of my friends that have been not raped, but, you know, assaulted and maybe, you know, it got close to that, and they were scared in college. But it takes away from that because it really does happen. And we're making it where you can't tell the difference. And I, as a woman, when I hear another woman say, I was sexually assaulted, I don't even believe them. My first instinct is not to believe them because I've seen so many lies. And that's a problem when you have women not believing. I mean, no words. There's just no words.
Well, when you take the allegations that have come forward, especially with, I'm trying to think of the woman's name. I want to say Steltnick, but I know I'm mispronouncing it all of a sudden. And she made allegations that she had attended, and this is the part my wife and I could not believe. She had attended 10 rape parties. My goodness, right there, that tells me there's something wrong with this individual in the first place for being in attendance.
Okay, are you talking about the Kavanaugh woman?
The Kavanaugh, yes, the accuser, yes.
Okay, so I didn't read that. She went to rape parties? What is a rape?
Yeah, these rape parties that they say that she attended, 10 of these parties that she claims Kavanaugh was at and was providing some of the liquor that was consumed and everything. And she claims that she was going to these parties.
That it was a party where women got raped.
Absolutely.
A party where the idea was to, which, those do happen. I'm not saying this is what happened in this case, but there are parties and groups on campus that are known to, to drug women, and that's what happens. And
right.
These things really do happen. But that's why it's so important not to have false allegations. And what my biggest problem from a therapy standpoint and from a legal standpoint, when I hear somebody that makes an accusation years later, something's wrong. I mean, why are you waiting this long to make an accusation? And, why, and not just about Kavanaugh, but any of these girls, why are you waiting so long? Because the average time that my clients are accused, like the time that it's taken from the alleged event to the accusation, is 18 months. And that's a really long time. So is somebody talking them into it on campus? Is there a group, which I firmly believe there is kind of a cult-like behavior that's going on campuses that is, there's propaganda being taught to young women that if you felt uncomfortable, then you were assaulted. And, that's not true. You can feel uncomfortable and not be assaulted. It's sex. And if it's your first time having sex, it's sex outside of marriage, outside of a relationship that usually it's like somebody you don't even know very well when you have these situations. So why would you not feel uncomfortable? Of course you're going to feel uncomfortable. That's not rape. That's just maybe a bad choice.
You mentioned the word therapy a moment ago, Michelle, and it all of a sudden triggered in my mind. You talk about people that needed therapy and help and assistance getting back into society. Look at the Duke lacrosse team after they were falsely accused. It destroyed those young men's lives.
That's why I do this. That is exactly why I do this, because I helped one student, and he was suicidal. And I actually had to reach out and get people to stop him from killing himself, because I was not in the same city as that he was, and it was, the longest 3 hours of my life trying to get that arranged. But that's why I do this, because I have seen firsthand what it does to these boys, and they are victims. It is a horrible thing to be falsely accused of something that is a felony, and you didn't do it, and no one in the school believes you. No one is supporting you. Nobody, it's a victim mentality. So they take on, the girl said it, it's true. She's the victim and you're the bad guy. And that's how it is from that point forward. You go in for these interviews with the investigators, and they don't believe anything you say. They take it all down and then twist it all to make it fit their theory of how you could have raped or assaulted this woman. So, yeah, it's really bad. I mean, there have been numerous suicide attempts and suicides from boys that this has happened to. And why is that not in the national news? There was a student in Arlington, the University of Arlington, that killed himself. Why was that in the news once and then it's gone? That should be front page news all the time.
Let me ask you this final thought. Are we at a point in society to where there aren't going to be any normalcies? In other words, are we going to see this radicalism continue and destroy people's lives, or can we turn this bus around and go back to where it's right and moral in a society and we judge the accuser and the facts instead of all of a sudden just pointing the finger?
Well, it's going to have to turn around, and I'll tell you, I say this, and I say it sometimes jokingly, but honestly, I really think what's going to have to happen is it's going to happen to someone higher up's son, someone that has some power. It's going to happen to their son, and then they're going to understand. Because I think it's hard to understand unless you've been through it, how unfair the system really is for men. I mean, we see with the celebrities and all of that, but when you're talking about college campuses, you have no idea how much this impacts these students and how unfair it is unless you've been through it. And so, once that happens, there are going to be some changes, and there will be changes. Betsy DeVos is going to come out, with the new federal regulations regarding Title IX, and there are going to be some changes. But as a society, we have to stop thinking that just because someone says they're a victim, it doesn't mean they are.
One final thought on the Kavanaugh nomination to the Supreme Court, Michelle. I feel so sorry for him, his wife, his family, his friends, the denigration of what good he has done for his society in law. This man has been completely destroyed, and the left has that power, and this is what really scares me in our society today. Any remarks in that regard?
Well, yeah, and I will say that I'm representing Safe Services, and they are a nonpartisan group. So without getting into any political beliefs, I will say that just straightforward, it's horrible for both parties. I mean, neither the woman nor Kavanaugh are being treated in a manner that is helpful to them as persons. I think they are both being used as pawns. And it's not something that, anybody thought about them and is trying to take care of them. But yes, for Kavanaugh, I feel sorry for his wife. I think that this is probably a very heavy load to lift, to deal with this. And I've dealt with, professors who've been accused, and it affects their entire family. So along those same lines, this is not something that their family will get over quickly at all. It's going to have, probably a long-lasting effect throughout the rest of his life.
What about the daughters?
Same thing for the woman that's making the accusations. I mean, whatever you think about her, this is not good for her either.
That's right.
All of this is just very negative.
One comment about the daughters. I mean, I looked at those little girls, and they must be going through a real traumatic experience right now with their school, their friends, their circle of friends in their society. It's got to be traumatic on these girls. What are they, 10 and 12 years old? It's got to be really tough.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot imagine. It will take a lot of counseling for them and a lot of therapy, and it's not going to go away ever. This is going to be, we have things in our lives that are filters that we remember. If you think back, you remember certain memories, and you don't remember every memory that occurred to you. This will be one of the things that shapes their lives. Those things that we remember are things that shape our lives. So this is something that they will never forget, and that will shape their lives forever.
Attorney Michelle Owens, and she's a spokesperson for Center for Prosecutor Integrity. I always look forward to having her on my program. Thank you, Michelle. God bless, and keep up the excellent work that you do. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Wonderful lady right there, and very straightforward. I appreciate her remarks this morning, Attorney Michelle Owens, and we'll have her back in the near future. I want to say thank you to Syringa Plaza for coming on our program. And I urge, now listen, if you're a senior out there listening right now, and it's a little tough to take care of yourself and be alone, well, I'll tell you what, there is a place in Burley where you can still maintain an independent living status, but there's going to be people there that can assist you and help you. And that's Syringa Plaza, serving low-income seniors who want to maintain an independent living status with or without assistance. Now, they've got nearby shopping opportunities and readily accessible public transportation, and, of course, bedroom apartments with the carpeting and the window coverings and kitchens with electric ranges and refrigerators. I urge you to call these wonderful folks today at Syringa Plaza. Write the number down. 208-677-4204, 677-4204, and they're located at 626 Elba Avenue in Burley. Remember, Syringa Plaza. Really good folks. Okay, let me see where I'm at here. I've got a sale to tell you about, and I've got time for another call, too. Don't forget the Bennett Boys Auction Service, and this Saturday they're going to have the Tiger and Carol Bennett, pardon me, I said it wrong, Tiger and Carol Barnett and Neighbors Auction. It's going to be over in Shoshone at 671 North, 450 West, from Johnny's Country Store north of Shoshone. Go 2 miles north, and then go to 620 North Road. road, look for the signs. There'll be plenty of signs and lunch by the cook shack. They're going to have tractors and trucks and pickups and trailers and ATVs and farm equipment and all kinds of neighbor consignments like ATVs, and they're going to have grain drills. They're going to have everything up there. It's quite a sale. And it's going to be this Saturday at 11 o'clock at the Tiger and Carol Barnett and Neighbors Auction in Shoshone. North of Shoshone, look for the signs, and the sale managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service, Joe Bennett and the crew. Number to call for more information, 539-0111. And remember, the Bennett Boys Auction Service, no sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, yep, they sell them all. Absolutely. Okay, tomorrow on the program, a little program note. And normally at 9:30 in the morning, we have the lovely Rita Ramsey on kind of a political forum to where we discuss all the top political stories in the news. Rita's not going to be available tomorrow, and she's going to be on a well-deserved little vacation, and we're going to have Senator Kelly Anthon filling in that position tomorrow at 9:30. And then we're working for 10:30 to have Dr. Gerard Lamero come back with his More Great News for America, his book, his thoughts about what's going on with the Kavanaugh nomination, etc. All of that tomorrow on the program. Should be really, really good. Right now, I'm going to send it back over to Wheels at our main studio. We'll be back in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you very much and welcome back into our last half hour. There's a gentleman that we've had on our program before, and he's known as a business coach, and he's written a book called Generous Wealth. Let me get this title right here to make sure the print's real small. Generous Wealth, How to Make More Money by Giving It Away and Helping Others. His name is Seth Coyne, and we say good morning again to Seth. How are you, sir?
Great, Zeb. Thanks so much for having me back.
You know, Seth, when I got this information sheet to have you back on the program, originally and initially I thought it was to talk about your book, but it really isn't. It's going to be about paralyzation and people that are suffering from paralysis. Maybe there's some hope on the horizon to where they can walk with a new kind of therapy. What in the world is going on here?
All right, well, I don't know if you or your viewers know this. I suffer from paralysis myself. This is a pretty near and dear topic to me. And what's going on is it's really started it's been going on throughout the past decade. This is just one more example that we're seeing of this, of an experiment where basically what they're doing is they are providing the spinal cord, which if it gets damaged through broken neck, broken back, things like that, it causes long-term paralysis. And they're providing the spinal cord with electrical stimulation. And they're seeing some very interesting results. Some people are getting electrodes implanted in their spine through surgery. Others are also just taking part in trials where they put electrodes on the skin and electrically stimulate the spine. And at least in some of those experiments, we're seeing great success in seeing substantial recovery, where the electrical stimulation, it allows patients to be able to move while their spines are stimulated like that. What they weren't originally expecting when they started these experiments is that after these patients in these trials have this electrical stimulation treatment for a while, they can eventually perform some movement without the stimulation afterwards.
Wow.
Which is obviously just huge for people like me.
Absolutely. Now, Seth, we have had you on the program before, and as you know that you're talking to a person that is, quite frankly, I'm going to brag on myself, very knowledgeable about paralysis, etc., because I've been on crutches for many, many, many years. And we're both kind of standing here on the same rock, if you will, talking to people. What about fast-tracking this groundbreaking treatment, to use the words that were on your information sheet? What's slowing this down, or what can we do to expedite this so that more people can be assisted?
A great question. Thank you. So, basically, like I said, this technology has been in the works for close to a decade now, and what I'm told by one of the researchers working on this type of stuff is that FDA approval could still be at least 2 to 4 years away, if not more, maybe.
Oh my!
And so what I'm hoping to do is basically they've seen huge improvements with this for a lot of people. They apparently have not seen any negative side effects, or at least no significant negative side effects. So I myself have actually started a petition on change.org, hopefully petitioning the president, asking him to instruct the FDA to, among others, instructing the FDA to provide fast-tracked review and approval for this therapy, which instead of taking years would get this approved within a few months.
Let me interrupt.
People like me could start finally seeing the progress that could be available.
Absolutely. Seth, I'm going to ask you, whatever phone system you're on, if you could speak up just a little bit. It's hard to hear you. What about the fast tracking? I do not understand why there is a foot dragging on various subjects in medicine, this being one of them. Why in the world can't we, the public, force this to be fast tracked or become more available in a quicker fashion? What's going on here?
Well, I mean, I think there's different schools of thought on that. There is certainly the idea that the drug companies that are able to invest huge money into developing new drugs that people are going to take for the rest of their lives, they probably have more influence with the FDA, so they probably get through the line more quickly, I would imagine, or at least that's what some people would probably suggest. Something like this, this therapy can be offered very inexpensively. It's new and very unorthodox. It's possible that the researchers don't have the connections that some people have. They don't have. They're certainly somewhat short on funding, it seems. So I imagine a whole lot of that answer just comes back to where is the money, who has enough money, and things like that. So that can certainly affect such things. I would imagine like that's what probably a lot of people would believe. But hopefully with a petition like this, we like you said, we can hopefully try to force something like this through. If your viewers are interested in helping out, just go to change.org, do a search for paralyzed people. It should be the first result on there. It would be great if everyone could take part in this, because this is really something that could change the lives of hundreds of thousands of people
Absolutely.
in a very, very big way.
Absolutely. Seth, let me ask you to be more definitive as far as how this would work. I noticed in the story it said a device surgically implanted on their spinal cords to stimulate electrical activity. Now, that being said, would this be primarily for someone or a group of people that have had spinal injuries, or would it also be applicable to people that have had polio in their past?
That's a great question, and really, there is so much that we don't know about this. So far, I mean, in the article that was most recently reported on in the Washington Post, they talked about a case study where they surgically implanted the electrodes. Some people are doing that without even the surgery; they're just doing it with electrodes stuck to the skin. And I think mainly what they've been testing is with spinal cord injuries, but really this presents a lot of questions for things like you said with polio, for multiple sclerosis, maybe things like cerebral palsy. Maybe there's a lot of unanswered questions here, and it certainly is worth experimenting with this thing, with things like that, and getting it through the FDA. It seems like it could open up a lot of doors, maybe for not just the hundreds of thousands of people suffering from spinal cord injuries, but like you said, maybe a whole lot more. And it would be so exciting to get this through and see what could be done with it.
I'm an old man, but I've been very blessed in my life, even though I've had the physical challenge. But I would absolutely submit myself in a heartbeat if I could be one of the test cases, if you will, to test this. It would be so nice not to have to pay an abundance of money on an annual basis for crutches. And I'm just one story, and yet science is so well progressed, but yet there seems to be somebody that puts roadblocks in the middle of the street. I'm sure that you share my pain, if you will, about the slowness of medicine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think part of these roadblocks are good. People don't want problems that can be prevented. But, yes, it's something like this. It's so hopeful and at the same time so frustrating, because if I could start doing something like this tomorrow, it could change my life in so many ways.
Yep. Now, tell us a little bit about you, the person, with your physical challenge, and then also your books, and you're calling yourself the digital marketing expert. Tell us a little bit about the day in the life of Seth Coyne. What do you do every day?
Sure. So, I mean, right now I've been mainly working from home, trying to build a business doing digital marketing, consulting, and providing services for companies. And honestly, the physical challenges I have do definitely offer some interesting roadblocks there, because a great way to build a business like this would be to get out in the community and network with business leaders and things like that. That's more of a challenge for me with my physical limitations, but trying to make do, working. Certainly the Internet provides a whole lot of opportunities these days, so my days can look very different. Sometimes I'm working on writing stuff for myself or client, sometimes reaching out on LinkedIn to try to find new people to work with, sometimes doing these interviews, trying to get my name out there,
right,
which are obviously very exciting. So there's a whole lot of variety, which is fun and exciting. So that's really cool. And then also writing that book I did, which was a really cool achievement, which I'm happy that I was able to do that, and hopefully able to make a bit of a difference in that with the way people do business, hopefully convincing them that we can do good and help people while also being more successful ourselves.
Let me ask you this, Seth, and I'm going to wrap this up here pretty quick, but what can I do to assist you in maybe putting a little bit more pressure on these experimental therapies that might become available to the general public and those of us that have physical challenges? If there's anything I could do, don't hesitate to ask me.
Well, I appreciate that, Zeb. Certainly going on change.org, searching paralyzed people and finding it and sharing my petition. Also, if you know anyone else in the media world, either in printed media or radio, TV, anything like that could help us get the word out about this, would certainly appreciate any introductions you might be able to provide, or anyone you could talk to that might want to report on this could certainly maybe make a difference for a lot of people. I really appreciate that.
Well, what I will do, I've got a meeting to run to immediately after this program, but I'm going to call you in the next couple of days, probably on Friday, my day off, and offer my services to help any way I can. But I want to say thank you for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me and for your support.
You're very welcome. Seth Coyne, and just an absolutely interesting and exciting possible new stimulation for electrical activity to help people walk normally. Wouldn't that be something? We're going to have him back on the program, and I'm going to be calling him to see what we can do to assist him. Once again, Wheels, if you can control that feedback a little bit. I don't know what happened today, but boy, it's just echoing in my head. I'm going to have to take a couple of Excedrin after this thing's over. It's not going on the airwaves, I know that, folks, but I'm on a private line of amplification coming from the station, so it's a little different. Time for the weather, and the weather brought to you by Scarrows Meats at 331 North Road, Jerome, and the number to call, 324-7657, and you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Delicious meats, all kinds of different meats, whether it's the buckboard bacon or whether it's the breakfast sausages and the bratwurst. I love bratwurst. Oh, my favorite. And, of course, all the tri-tips and the prime ribs. Oh, everything. Delicious from Scarrows Meats in Jerome. Don't forget to give them a call. Stop over, 324-7657. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's a look at your weather forecast for this Wednesday. Honestly, today, not too bad, but we are expecting rain showers for tonight and for the rest of the week. Here's your weather forecast for us up at the ranch. We're expecting partly sunny skies today. Winds out of the southwest, right around 8 miles an hour. Expecting a high of 69 tonight. Showers could move in, about a 60% chance of that happening with mostly cloudy skies. Expecting a low of 48. Tomorrow, chance of showers and then thunderstorms possible in the afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies. Expecting a high of 62 for Thursday night. 40% chance of showers before midnight. Other than that, transitioning to partly cloudy skies. Expecting a low of 36. Then for Friday, sunny skies with a high of 57. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Range.
And I appreciate that. Excellent job as always, Gina. Thank you. Brought to you by Scarrows Meats. Don Scarrow and the crew. I'm going to try. I've got to play a little trick on Don. I think I'll invite him over, and then I'll mention to him, oh, by the way, Don, you wouldn't mind bringing some bratwurst with you? Oh, I love their brats. Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. All right, now it's your turn. Please give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'd love to talk to you about any subject you want to visit about for the next couple of minutes on the program this morning. And so give me a call, please. I noticed the stories in the paper this morning. I cut out some of these. Doubts raised on FBI. Oh, come on. The Democrats are trying to plant the seed that there's going to be questions about the thoroughness of the FBI investigation. They're the ones that wanted number 7. They're the ones, the left, these Looney Tunes, that wouldn't accept the first 6 on Brett Kavanaugh. Oh, no, they weren't good enough. We've got to have another one. The FBI's got to have an investigation. Now the Democrats, there's so many things I want to say, but the FCC won't let me. But now these Democrats are saying, well, oh, wait a minute, we're not sure that they will be thorough enough. Folks, can't you see the one 5-letter word that's looming on the horizon? DELAY. Delay, 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 delay. Until after the midterms. Delay, delay. Completely thwart the Trump administration and all they're trying to get done. Delay, delay. That's all it is. That's all it is by the Democrats. And with all these 6 investigations that were held on Brett Kavanaugh, his life, his friends, his acquaintances, his jobs, everything. 6 of them. And now number 7 that the Democrats want, now they're saying, well, they might not be very thorough. What are your thoughts? Give me a call, please. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And then we have the illustrious Democrat Cory Booker. Cory Booker is questioning Kavanaugh's temperament. And this is from Booker, and the fact that he, meaning Kavanaugh, used language that frankly shocked a lot of us. Are you kidding me? The New Jersey Democrat Cory Booker said that President Trump should choose someone else because Kavanaugh's temperament is not capable of being on the Supreme Court. Like my grandmother used to say, ay, 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 ay. Caller, good morning, you're on the air.
Mr. Spartacus needs to look in the mirror.
Mr. Spartacus isn't smart enough to find out where he put the mirror.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. No, they're playing their hand. That's all they wanted was the delay. They've won the first couple battles. Now, I'm glad Mitch McConnell is standing up and said we are voting this week. And get them on record. Get those blue states on record that Trump won by major gaps. Get them on record voting it down and see what happens to the GOP senators running in those states.
Doug, I'm almost out of time, but I want you to respond to this. Isn't it absolutely asinine, ridiculous? It's like listening to a braying jackass when these Democrats say, well, we need another investigation. We need to have an FBI investigation. Okay, the Republicans capitulated and said, yeah, have at it. Here we go with another one. And now it might not be thorough enough.
Exactly. Yeah, they're never happy. They're never happy, and this is their plan, is delay. Now they're starting to go on his character because his rape allegations are not sticking to the wall like they thought they would.
Yeah, and I dare you or anyone else, and you and I talked about this earlier, and I talked to Bigo about it earlier this morning. I was blessed, I guess you could say, with a short fuse. I do not have a very good temper. As a matter of fact, it explodes easily and readily, and I'm not proud of that. But for Brett Kavanaugh to be dragged through the mud like he was, or any other kind of filth you can think of, and then to take it lightly, I don't blame him for the way he looked at the hearing the other day and told the Democrats exactly what he thought.
I was proud of him for that. I mean, you put yourself in his shoes, he was very well maintained for what he's gone through.
I totally agree. Totally. I doubt seriously if about 90% of my friends, neighbors, and acquaintances or family could have ever handled it any better.
I don't know if I know anybody that could handle it that good.
I got to run. I'm late. Talk to you later, buddy. Thanks for your call.
Okay, God bless.
All right, take care. Want to remind everybody, boy, I had a brain bubble there for a minute. Do you ever have one of those where you're looking for a word and all of a sudden, zip, 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 where'd it go? Anyway, don't forget Big Fall Tire Sale. Big Fall Tire Sale going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All the tires that you need for your car pickup and SUV and, of course, trailers, everything, they're on sale. Yeah, buddy, I'm telling you, this is going to save you money and help you drive safer. Absolutely. Along with this, at all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, don't forget the best in brake service, the best in front end alignment, shocks and struts. And with the weather cooling down, you better make sure you've got a good battery. They've got the best right there with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. The best. That's not brag. That's a fact. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You stop in and see them today. Wow, we're out of time. Thank you, everybody, for an excellent program, chiming in with all your questions and remarks. I appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow right here at 8:06, and we'll saddle the horse and ride for 3 hours on Zeb at the Ranch, where we always end the program by saying the way things were are the way things ought to be, and the world needs more cowboys. See you tomorrow morning at 8:06.